Okay, guys, so today I'm opening up the one of the holiday swaps. I want to do a loaded pocket. Everyone had a lot of fun with it. I think it went off pretty well. The last time we did the Happy Halloween one. This one, I think I'm gonna call it. I'm still debating, even making this video. I don't remember exactly what I settled on, but I think we're gonna call it Home for the Holidays. Loaded pocket swap, okay? And whatever I use today, if I have links for it, I'll link in the description box. Those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. And again, in the description box, it's just under the title of the video. It depends on how you're watching. You can say show more, you can just have an expand. Sometimes it says expand, sometimes it has a little triangle. And I've noticed if you're on a phone, you still have to click show more even after that, because it'll show the very top part of the description box when you click show more, and then you have to still click additional details or show more, and then it'll show all the links. So I mentioned that because I know with the Dollar Tree video, I had linked the cases, and a lot of people were not sure which ones I was talking about or didn't know which ones when they went to the store. And I'm like, I showed them in the video. I put the link so that you would have exactly, where, the case. So I don't know if people just don't know where it is or they forget or I don't know, but it's down there. And that is generally where there's going to be a lot of information. Along with my links, I'll have some links to the Cricut cutting files, because I put this on Cricut along with the regular pocket that we did last time around. So we'll talk about that right now. There'll be a couple options on the pocket. Please, if you are going to sign up, listen to every word and watch the videos in total. I think there's going to be a couple of videos because I feel like they're going to be kind of long. This took me literally minutes to make, and I did it by hand just so I would have it plus the Cricut files. I mean, it's not very long, but we'll talk about this pocket in just a minute. Obviously, we still have to decorate it and just really deck it out and have a lot of fun with it. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. I will have the signups open until November 5th, which is this Saturday. I don't know that I can take more than 50 people. It's kind of a big swap. What I did last time is I was unboxing them and talking about them and making tutorials about them as they came in, so that's really great. That worked out really well, so I'll probably do the same thing this time around because I can put things back in place and put them away without, before the swapping, without just being on live camera and trying to get everything and keep everything. It just worked out really well, so I'll probably still do that, but again, I can't make a huge 60, 70, 80 person swap with something like this. It just would get out of hand. So if it fills up, it'll fill up, and I'll put in the, I'll update the title out, not in the video, because obviously I had to edit that and I put the video out, but in the actual title that's on YouTube, I'll say, closed or full or whatever, and I'll also update the description box, because to sign up, you would email me. My email's in the description box until it's closed, so you can definitely find my email down there. That's another reason. It's good to know where the description box is. And you have to send in postmark by November 26th. Now that is basically Black Friday weekend, right? Right after the Thanksgiving holiday. Now I did that because if I said November 19th, which is the Saturday before, they're going to start coming in. Some people do wait till the very last day to send them in. So let's say they send them in postmark by Saturday. They're going to start trickling in, I hopefully will have the bulk of them already, but Monday, Tuesday, are we really going to do live videos Wednesday before Thanksgiving? Probably not, right? So I was like, you might as well give you that whole week. I know some people have the week off. Some people, maybe they take off and they leave. If you're going to leave and you want to sign up for this, please get it done in the next, that's almost a full month I'm giving here to send it in. So I don't like doing that because that gives people a lot of time, and guess what people do? They wait. They wait. I've been doing swaps for the longest time, and people will wait, and then at the end they're like, oh, I didn't get to do this, or I didn't get to do that. Please get it in as soon as you can. And that doesn't mean slap it together. You have a month basically, so just get it in. If your Thanksgiving time is real busy, get it in the week before, send it in. I will give you guys the option of doing 2 or 4. I know we did 2 last time and that works out great. They still have to fit in the flat rate padded envelope that I generally use. I'll bring one out in just a minute. I'll show you what that means, the sizing on that and all that. Your pocket needs to be the one I designed here or the one we did last time, okay? So because it's 5x7, it works really well. It held a lot of fun things, and it just is just the right size, the right thickness that works, okay? So we're going to talk all about that in just a minute, but it has to be this covered pocket or the open pocket. That's why I didn't glue this shut yet, because I just want to show you that this is basically the same as the pocket before. If you guys notice, this whole area, exactly the same. I just added a flap at the bottom. Well, basically at the top, really, because this flap is the same as what it was before, but it was tucked in, and it was shorter, right? So just half an inch tucked in here. But now what I did was I extended it out, and I added a longer piece that's going to keep this really nice and sturdy too. So this is the basic thing. And then we added this top flap that's going to keep everything in here the right thickness. Again, if you want to use the other one, go ahead. Please, when you package these guys up, make it pretty flat. I know I was going to go like crazy last time. It just doesn't fit as well, so I had to take some things off. Please don't package anything in the back of the swap. Everything should be contained inside here, unless you're having a dangle. Obviously, a dangle is going to be kind of like hanging out the side. Everything should be inside. I repeat, do not put anything else extra outside of your swap, like on this back side. Or, you know, we're also going to decorate the front, so obviously that's going to add a little bulk. Do not put anything else out here. Everything should remain inside, okay? And we'll talk about what the loaded pocket is going to contain in just a minute. I'm just going over like the very basic things. It has to be this pocket. I'm going to go step by step. I even drew it up so you guys will have a little screenshot if you need a refresher. It's very easy. I'll show you what it looks like on Cricut. Again, I know this takes some time for me to talk about everything, but I'm telling you, I will have the questions. So I'll show you what this looks like when we're done. Obviously, I'm going to make up a couple, but you can either do 2 or 4. I do not need to know right now when you sign up that you're doing 2 or that you're doing 4, or later you're like, oh, I did 4, but I only had time to make 2, and so I don't need all those back and forth emails. Just send in 2 or send in 4, okay? If you send in 3 or 5, obviously that would mean 1 was for me. I really appreciate it. You do not have to make me one. People do, and they're so sweet, and I really appreciate it. Like, it's a lot of fun for me to receive one also, but you do not have to make me one, okay? Sorry, I have my phone on to alert me in case I get calls, because I got to pick up my husband in a little bit. So 2 or 4, I do not need to know when you sign up. I'm not going to write it down. I'm just, you know, when yours comes in and you have 4, okay, you're going to get 4 from other people back. And if you have 2, then you're going to get 2 from other people back. And that's just how it is. And the groups, when I pull the groups names, you know, hopefully everyone stays to the rules. I'll probably pull 5 or 6 names at a time, and that'll be a group. And if you have 2, then I'm going to give you 2 from the other 4 or 5 people in your group. I'm not going to give you 4 because you sent in 2, right? If you send in 4, you're going to get 4. So it just works out. No, it's not a big deal. So just send in 2 or send in 4 if that's what you want to do. Obviously, if you send in 2, I'm going to send it back in the flat rate padded envelope, and the pricing, I believe, was, I don't know right now off the top of my head. It'll be in the guidelines, but I think it's like 1070 or something like 1060 or whatever it is. And if you send it in a box, because let's say you're doing 4, I'm going to send your 4 back to you in a flat rate medium box, a medium flat rate box, which I believe is like 1705 or something like that. But those numbers will be in the guidelines, the pricing. So if you're sending 4, make sure you send in the more postage because you need that, or else I can't send you your 4 back. If you're sending in 2, do the flat rate padded postage, and I don't think that's confusing at all. I hope it's not. Again, it'll be written in the guidelines, and the guidelines will also give you my post office address, and you are sending it in cash because it was just a mess doing PayPal and things like that before. It was craziness. So now we're just going straight cash, which is fine. It works out real well. We'll talk about this guy in a little bit. I just want to talk about the commitment right now because I know, you know, there's a commitment. Now, what's going to go inside the pocket? With the Halloween, it'll be very similar to the things I'm asking for, but this time I was like, maybe a little different because it is Christmas and we are crafters, and this is basically little gifts from crafters to crafters. So I have a little list of things here, and let's just start off with, okay, as you decorate this, obviously we're going to decorate it. You're going to close it up. I mean, if you want to close it up with a ribbon, with a tie, if you want to just do the open pocket, you can definitely just do the open pocket like the last time around. That's up to you. I really like the idea of this little flap because you have more to decorate, plus all the stuff you put in here, right? So that's up to you. This I am going to glue down. I just wanted to show it to you guys what it looked like. You can even use the numbers for this one, just with the higher part here than the last time, the last loaded pocket if you want. I'm going to go through it anyway, and all you do is just don't add this top flap, and then you just have your open loaded pocket that still has that sturdiness in the front because this whole flap is one piece. And just don't add this one, you know, and then still decorate it up and all that. So of course we're going to decorate it. I requiring people to decorate them. You can't just send it in like this with things in it and think that's great. No, we want pretty papers, you know, die cuts, whatever it is. People added all kinds of stuff. The whole thing is to load it up, right? But I don't want people to feel overwhelmed or like they have to invest so much. And hopefully these are things that you have at home other than like a little treat that you might want to add, things that you can put together, right? It's paper based, you know, all that. So I require it to be decorated, at least, you know, nicely decorated, of course. with your Home for the Holidays theme. Now I chose that because I'm like, to me, gingerbread. I love gingerbread, snowmen, you know, sledding, whatever it is that you like to do, Christmas trees, wreaths, you know, all that traditional. Not, I don't care about the colorway. It's called Home for the Holidays. If you like pastel things at your house, then do that. Like whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just called Home for the Holidays, and whatever you interpret that to be. Okay, so for me, it's going to be very homey, like baking and cute and sweet like that. So that's what I'm going to go for. But that's, you know, you'll see as this develops. So you have to have at least one paper clip, a dangle, rosette, some other kind of decoration. I probably should have put that last. I just had the numbers 1 and then 3 and 5, and I just put it that way. But we'll address that again. What's going to make this one fun and cute and sweet, instead of having a cute little altered memo pad, which, you know, we do take notes, you know, and stuff during Christmas time, I figure let's do an ornament. So you're going to make a handmade ornament. Now the ornament has to fit in this spot here, which is about 1/2 inch wide. So, you know, felt, foam, paper, whatever you think is cute, whatever style you want to make. I'm basically going to use dies and use some felt because I think that's cute. I'm going to do some stitching just to make it a little extra special. But whatever it is that you want to do for an ornament that a person can either, you know, put on their tree or put in their craft room, you know, for the little Christmas time and stuff like that. Because you'll have this plenty of time for Christmas to just admire it and have fun with your little pockets, right? So one ornament. And we were talking about one paper clip, but we'll come back to that. A tag or a recipe, one tag or recipe card. So basically you can include a tag with at least 3 embellishments on it, just like we did last time, a cute tag, or a recipe card. If you want to fit both of them in here, that's up to you. Great. These are the basic guidelines, right? So one or the other. So one tag or a recipe card. So like if you choose to use a recipe card, you don't have to do a tag. But if you want to do both, do both. You know, that's up to you. Whatever fits. Of course, you don't want this thing bulging and just being ridiculous, right? Because we're going to put some 3D items in here. We don't want them squished. So however that fits for you guys. And what I mean by recipe card is an actual recipe that you want to share that you like to make around Christmas time, you know, the holidays. So for me, I think I'm going to use my peanut brittle recipe because it comes out really nice. It's quick to write up. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to write it up. But you know what, because my printer's like acting ridiculous. But I think I might use my Cricut. So I'll probably just type it up on my Cricut and have it write it with a gel pen and, you know, decorate it up or whatever. So a tag or a recipe card. One shaker mix, so again with at least 3 different spangles, and I don't mean just 3 different colors with sequins, I mean cute things, you guys, like make it fun, like glitters, sequins, shapes. I don't really want to just see that it's 3 colors of sequins or like 5 colors of sequins, like mix it up, let's have some fun variety. So that is one thing you might have to go pick up. I don't, because I have a ton of glitter, but hopefully you have something that works out for you, right, that works out and coordinates there. So that's all gonna be in the guidelines. So it has to be at least 3 different spangle glitter type things or more, of course, to make a nice mix. Package that however you like, but at least a tablespoon of mix. And I just wrote it down real quickly, but all these things will be in the guidelines as far as a little more specific. Generally, I make my guidelines more general and this more specific, but I think I'm going to have to start doing them both more specific because people do miss things. But again, I beg of you, if you're signing up for the swap, you're watching every minute of the video and you are reading the guidelines, okay? And then I did say one treat. This is not a huge space. I remember last time it was packed, like even with the stuff I asked for, it was pretty much maxed out. But if you want to include just a little something, you know, even if it's just a little candy cane, it might break, obviously, or like something small that would also fit in here. Don't really bulge it out. It's just a little treat. It can be the smallest thing. I found some chocolate bars today at the Dollar Tree that I think are going to work. They're the peppermint bark ones, which I love. I think they're Russell Stover. I can't remember right now. They're so good. So, you know, the profile's about that thick, and of course, it's like candy bar height. So it would fit back here with my other items. So I'm thinking that you want to put in a little pair of socks or gloves or whatever. It has to go inside. Again, we're not adding this separate. It has to, or whatever you're putting in here as a treat has to fit in here. Everything that you're bringing, you're sending to your swap partners have to fit in here, okay? Not really off to the side or, you know, other than a dangle, guys. Again, when you decorate this, you know, I'm going to add some layers and it's going to add some thickness. The whole thing is I have this engineered that it fits in the flat rate padded envelope. And that's just how it works, you guys. So just keep that in mind. Okay, we'll look at the flat rate padded envelope in a minute. 3 bows or rosettes, just like we did last time. They have to be bigger than 1 inch, you know, 1 inch or bigger. Same thing with your ornament. Please don't make a little tiny ornament that I can't even find down here. Like a good little size ornament. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say like 3 inches and then you have a die that's 2.5. Like what I'm saying is make a good size ornament, right? that fits in here. whatever that is to you. Okay, I don't really want to give a number on that one because again, oh, it's just a little bit smaller than 3. That's fine. It just can't be a little tiny thing that you can't find in here, you know. Oh, some people make like, what's the thing? Ornaments with like shrink film. So I understand that, and it gets tiny. So, you know, just something that took you time. That's cute. So if you are going to make something really tiny, just make sure it's like packaged so I can bring it out and show it. Hopefully that makes sense. I would say make it a little bigger. It would be my opinion on that one. But so 3 bows or 3 rosettes, at least an inch big. Again, package nicely. I'll show you how I'm going to package mine so that they don't like fall out or go everywhere. So I'll probably put it on a strip just like I did last time. I might do rosettes this time. I really like the bows though, or a mix, right? It's 3 of one or the other, or you can do like 2 bows and a rosette, or 2 rosettes and 1 bow. It doesn't matter, but only 3, okay, guys? Because that's what will fit in here, and that's what I have time to chat about. Again, you just don't put my phone on to make noise, but that was my son just forgetting what he called me for, and he's literally upstairs. He's like, I totally forgot what I called you for. Okay, so again, a mix of bows and rosettes, or 3 bows and 3 rosettes, whatever it is, you know, sorry. And then 5 die cuts, and that can be anything, you know, they can be layered up, just die cuts of words, you know, whatever, but again, home for the holidays theme, right? So I don't want to see just, I don't know what, like happy birthday or something random that doesn't have to do with it. So whatever die cuts, I probably do some layering ones because I have some really cute gingerbread dies that I really want to use. I have cute gingerbread cut files like in my Cricut things that I own. So like just whatever it is, 5 die cuts. So those are relatively flat. That's why I think you're going to have plenty of room for the other things that you put in here. So again, I'm going to mention it real quick. It's a 5x7 pocket. It's this one covered up or open, right, without the top part. I have Cricut files for you guys. I'll show it to you right now because I know that doesn't pertain to everybody, but we will, I will walk you through making it by hand or make it on your Cricut. On the Cricut, you're going to waste a little more paper because it's going to arrange things in a way that's like crazy. So that's up to you, you know, how you want to do it. On this one, it took about 2.5 pieces of paper, but I still have plenty left to make the next pocket. You know what I'm saying? So I would say for every 2 pockets, you're probably using like 3.5 pieces of paper, okay, for like 2 pockets for the base part. So that's what it is, 5x7. It has to be this pocket. We're not going to open it up quite yet to just doing whatever pocket you want, because I know everyone has different things and different sizes, and it has to fit in the packaging. So like that's kind of why I try to control that part as much as I can. And last time it seemed to work out, and I know some of them were really overstuffed, so it was like I was shoving them in there, and I know probably when I got to the next person it was kind of crushed, and I feel bad to do that. I do not like sending people things that are crushed. Please protect your swap. If you are using a flat rate envelope or just an envelope to send it in, because let's say you have another padded envelope, you do not have to use the flat rate padded envelope to send it to me. I don't care about that. You can send them however you want, right? Whatever box packaging. If you are using an envelope, please put some kind of chipboard or cardboard or something in there to help protect it, and I will use that same chipboard or cardboard to send yours back, okay? So if you're sending it with protection, I will send yours back with protection. If they get crushed, you didn't send any protection with it, then I'm probably going to just send it back to you because they're crushed, okay? So I know last time some of them got a little crushed even with the protection, but it helped out, and at least you tried, so I still went ahead and swapped it out. But if you just throw them in a bag and send it off and they get crushed, I will not be swapping them out, guys. So again, not super thick, 5x7, this packaging, and then each swap, if you're sending in 2 or 4, each one is going to have, I'm going to talk about the paper clip at the end. 1 ornament that you handmade, not store-bought, handmade, a tag or a recipe card, again with at least 3 embellishments on the tag. The recipe card, obviously you're going to have to write it down, do the things. Obviously it's going to be cute. I'm not going to say you have to embellish it too. That's going to take even more time, right? So obviously you're going to make it cute. You'll see how I do mine. A shaker mix, which is at least 1 tablespoon of the mix. That are 3 different spangles or sequins or glitters, not all the same shape, okay? Do you know? Yeah, I hope that you understand what I'm saying. 1 treat, that can be anything. It can be something crafty. It can be a little snacky treat. It can be whatever. I mean, just, you know, I don't know. Anything, right? Whatever coordinates. Okay. So again, treat, whatever it is that fits in here that works out for you, okay, in the packaging. 3 bows or 3 rosettes or a mix of both, that still just 3 of them, and then 5 die cuts. So yes, there are quite a few things I've listed, but I don't think it's that much work. And honestly, I'll probably do 4 because I really want to do them. These are so much fun. So let's talk about the construction, and I'll show you guys the Cricut file. There's 2 different files, and if you want to use a Cricut, great. That's the only place I know how to design it. I don't know if that means you can download it and still use it like on a scan and cut. I have no idea, but I will have the link there for you guys. And yeah, so let's get to it. Okay, guys. So of course, you know, I have my numbers here, and you know how your paper stretches is going to depend on if you're using 12 by 12, 8.5 by 11. I'm probably going to mix both. This is some really heavyweight paper I think I picked up a while back at Hobby Lobby. And it was 8.5 by 11, but like I said, between about 3.5 pages, I can probably, or papers, get 2 of them done. Let's just say 4 papers, because you're going to cut into it anyway. But today's been a crazy day. I'm just going to show you guys really quickly. I do have the cut files for both of them. So this is the one I'm showing you right now, and I'll talk about it. This is the one from last time, where it's just the 2 pockets, right, and then the back piece that comes around underneath, and then just tucks in on the top, which was this piece. And it just kind of a separate piece, actually. But when I did it on the actually, was it a separate piece? I don't remember now. And here I cleaned that up a little bit. I made it one piece that was just scored. So we can talk about that later. Right now I kind of want to focus more on this one because that's the one for this time around. So let me open this up just to show it to you really quick. And let's see here. These are all the pieces. So this longest one is that long piece that's back here, and it goes here, scores up, and makes that flap. Okay, that's this one piece. And I included matte layers for them that are like 7/8 of an inch all around smaller. Of course, whatever you want. I just included there just to make it easy if you're going to use the cut file. This piece here, so these pieces, obviously, they move off if you wanted to. Obviously, you don't have to keep them there. And then when you go to cut, everything that's black or gray is going to be the actual pocket. So I just put them all in one color. I put these things red just so you would have matte layers if you want. But this one right here, this piece, is essentially this piece right here that you're seeing. So there's a little tab. It goes, again, 1.25 inches, because that's how thick this is. This is 3/4 inch wide, this pocket. This one's 1/2 inch wide. And together it's 1.25 inches, and this comes over the top like that. So it's basically the same, 1.25 inches. But again, I don't really score them until I'm done, because that way I can really get that nice on there, nice and tight. Okay, so that flap is this one. So essentially you can still cut this if you don't want to use the flap. If you don't want to cover it up like this, then don't use this piece. Just delete it, or just don't cut it right when you go to cut. And if you're familiar with Cricuts, then you'll know. This piece right here, it's just this one here. I did not make a matte layer for that one. All it does is it does wrap around. It has a 1/2 inch glue tab. It comes out the 1.25 inches because it has to clear the 3/4 here plus the 1/2 inch here, so it comes out 1.25 inches, goes across 5, and then does the same thing on the other side. That's all this is. I didn't include a matte layer for that because this is going to glue on top of it, so there's no reason for that piece to have a matte layer yet. But this piece can have a matte layer, right? So I did include a matte layer for that piece, which is this piece here. Right, once this folds up, this piece covers that. I did put a matte layer here if you want to use it, you know, just because it's there. And again, a repeat one for up here, which is the same as this one basically, because they're the same size. But it's, oh, come on. It's up here. Why? There we go. No, don't do any of that. This piece. Okay. And then this is a matte layer for this back side if you wanted to cover the back. I just put it a different color because I don't know. So this light pink one, if you really scroll through, you can... Why is this like something I can never like grab? There. 2 fingers. This piece would matte layer behind that if you wanted to, or it's basically the same size that would tuck in here, right? To cover this up, if you want a matte layer in here, that piece will also tuck in here if you wanted, or this piece can tuck in there. It, you know, I just included it in case somebody wanted to have the extra piece there. Why is this thing? I'm telling you. Okay. And this piece is this pocket in the back. So it has 1/2 inch glue tabs, score lines and everything. Just want to show you. And it has 3/4 inch sides. So 1/2 inch glue tab, 3/4 inch, 5 across, and then 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch glue tab back around. So you can get that all cut out yourself with your Cricut. And then it has matte layers, like I said, or make your own matte layers, or, you know, scallop layers, whatever. I just put a basic matte layer. I do want to make a mention. I did make it so that this piece is a little bit shorter than the 2.5 inch tall Like this flap is 2.5 inches tall, because I didn't want to tuck it in there then have it move up because of this, and then it sticks out the back. So what I did is I cut this a little bit skinnier than 2.5 inches, and I restyled it that way in the Cricut thing. So it's like 2.45 instead of 2.5 inches tall. It's just the tiniest bit smaller so that it all situates really nicely. Okay, so if you're not using Cricut, we're gonna make it ourselves, and I want to show you this here. I put these two together because even though this one I have it going this way, when you cut your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, it was easier for me to cut this at 5 inches in and then 10 3/4, which I know it's 11 inches long, so why don't you just leave the 1/4 inch, because I couldn't really, you could leave it if you want, it's just going to be 1/4 inch taller here. This base needs to stay 5 by 7, so these numbers I give you are going to make a 5 by 7 piece here, right? So it fits in your packaging and in your envelope really nicely and all. I think today all we're going to do is this base pocket, to be honest, because this is a crazy day for me and I just want to get the info out so you guys can sign up if you want. So I think this is all we're going to get as far as today, rules and basic pocket. But if you added the 1/4 inch here, like let's say you didn't cut it off because you want to just leave it 11 inches, you can leave it sticking up here, I suppose. I just don't see why you would. I just cut it off. So we'll talk about that in a minute. From that same piece of paper, it leaves a strip, right? Because it's 5 inches wide. And essentially the whole page length. It leaves a strip that's 3.5 inches. But we need 4-inch strips. We need 6 3/4 and 5. You know, so the other one you can cut from that same piece is this one, this 2.5-ish. Remember, I told you I cut it a little bit smaller than 2.5 tall by 8.5. So that 8.5 length, you can still get it in the length, 2.5. So from that one piece on 8.5 by 11, I would cut these two. And then these guys you can kind of mix and match later when you're making 2 or 4 pockets. Some of these will leave you paper to cut another one that's the same size out of your other pieces of paper. So the other things we need to cut are these pieces that are 6 3/4 by 5 and 4 by 7.5. And the reason I orient some this way and some this way is because this is long ways, which is basically the back of this. It's just this, scored here and here, right? And this, scored here and here. And then this is the top flap that has a 1/2 inch glue tab, which is up here, and then that, and then it comes down. So that's kind of why I oriented in that way. These are the pocket areas. This is the larger pocket in the back that is 4 by 7.5, and this one's just a little bit shorter than 2.5 inches tall by 8.5. So when I come back right now, I'm going to cut down some papers to these measurements. So I need one that's 10 3/4 by 5, 6 3/4 by 5, just a little shorter than 2.5 by 8.5, and then 4 by 7.5. And I'll be right back, and then we'll talk about the scoring. Okay guys, so I have my pieces here. Again, base pocket and this, and I'll leave the flap for the end because if you don't want to add a flap, you're going to do the same thing anyway. So 10 3/4 by 5 for the very background of it. And you're either going to score it at 7 and 8 1/4, right? Or 2.5 and 3 3/4. It depends. If you want to do this and say, okay, 7 inches, I'm scoring at 7, and then the next one's 8 1/4. But since I have it this way, and I'm using a mini thing here on this 10 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score it at 2.5, and then 3 3/4. And that's it. 2.5 and 3 3/4, okay? And then I always like scoring towards the back, so that's this. I mean, that's how quickly we have this piece, right? And then the pockets are going to be the same, and if you have the Cricut and you just cut it, it's going to be the same thing. So, oh, what do I have here? Okay. We have the small pocket. So our small pocket is 2.5, again, a little shorter than 2.5 by 8.5, but we're scoring at 1.5, I'm sorry, 1/2 and 1 3/4 on either side. So 1/2, and then 1 3/4, and then just turn it 1/2 and 1 3/4, okay? That's our small pocket. That's this lower one here. And this guy is the larger pocket. It's 4 by 7.5, and we're going to score it on either side at 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. So 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. Flip it. 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. And this is essentially your pocket. Oh, you know what? I had used paper that I had bought single sheets of. And that's on the inside. You're not going to see it, but I will just take it off now. Totally forgot about that. Okay, And so these are our pockets. This one goes on top of this one goes on top of this one, like that, basically, was what you're seeing here. And then they're both going to go here. And so I'm doing this one a little bit differently, but again, if you're making your pocket and you're just copying me, I would say go ahead and do this long flap because that just makes it sturdier anyway. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing without the top flap. So what I'm going to do is put glue on the inside of this pocket, the glue tab, and about halfway on this one because they're going to glue together. The easiest thing to do is glue these guys while they're bent. So like that one has that bend, this one has the bend. I'm going to stick them together. So this one's going to be outside of that bend, right? Instead of trying to glue them flat and then try to fight with it to do like what pop-ups do where they don't want to stay in the same spot at the same time. So I'm holding those together. And then as this comes up this way, I would say give it another, hold it together again. So you can kind of see glue flap there, put a little glue here. If you don't want to glue it, I suppose you don't have to. I just like the sturdiness that it gives. Same thing on this side, on the inside of the glue flap, and a little bit here. And again, put those guys together and give them their fold so that they know where they're wanting to be, not fighting you later. So I'm folding them already, and it's already touching there, and they're both happy in their respective spaces, you know. This paper is a little bit thinner. It's Coordinations, but it's a little bit thinner than that Hobby Lobby one. You can use a nice papers. Everything in here, guys, I really can't stress that enough. It should be curated, like nice things that you want to share with people so you have a nice product, you know, at the end. The little project comes out really cute. Okay, so those are together, and then all I'm going to do is glue these. And I'm going to glue them on the inside. If you want to wrap them around to the outside, you're going to cover the back anyway. Whatever. Just line it up to that score line at the bottom. So I'm going to stick this right here. Really keep it nice and straight. Again, attention to detail. Try to do your neat work. Just kind of eyeballing this, making sure everything's good. You can bring it down a little bit, actually, closer to the score line. Just down here, I'm just meeting it up right on that edge. Probably bring it in a little bit better too. Okay, and then that's glued down. And on this side, we're going to do the same thing. I know it looks domed because of how we're working with it, but it'll flatten out. And on this side, same thing. Just bring it over here. And again, that's kind of why I don't really score them really like hard, because you can kind of take care of what you need to do at the end here. So I'm lining it up right at the edge again. Bringing it out, making sure it's nice and straight down here at the bottom. And I'm just going to hold that down for a little bit. Now, the reason I didn't glue this flap here yet, that's what's going to close it up for things not to just fall out the bottom. Just because I wanted to show you how this was constructed. So for this one and the other one, I'm just going to glue it shut. Okay. And I'm doing the flap on all my entries, and I'll probably have, again, if you have the same papers, that'd be great so they all look exactly the same. I just did a mock-up and it was green paper, which will be fine. It'll match what I have. If not, I'll use it for something else. But you can try to make them look as identical as they can, and everything that's inside should be the same. That way, you know, your swaps are basically the same. I open one up, go through it, and then here we go. So if you're going to put matte layers, which of course you're going to because we're going to decorate it more, and you want to close this with ribbon, just pay attention to that, know where to put your ribbon. Are you going to use, you know, a Velcro closure? Well, I would just decorate it and then at the end put the Velcro so it pops open. The little snap tab things that are so cute. I wanted to use it, but I thought, you know what, I'm probably going to put a lot of thick layers and I don't think it's going to work very well, but you can definitely do that. Lots of ways to close things up, and that's to you guys, however you want to do that. I suppose you could just leave it just like that, right? Hanging down. It's going to be packaged up anyway. So, I suppose now I could just go ahead and close it up also, like I did the other one, because we're going to need to close it up. Now, if you just wanted to do like before and have just a little glue tab here that's like a 1/2 inch, you would just tuck it in here and glue it against here, right? But honestly, I like this flap because it does make it feel a lot more sturdier. And then you're going to add another layer anyway on top of that. It's really nice and sturdy. Okay, I'm just kind of squaring that out. That closes it up so things don't fall out the bottom. And that would be your basic pocket if you want to do it like this. right? And now decorate and do all the things you want to do. With this piece is the top flap, what I would call. Again, this is 6 3/4 by 5, and you're just going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 3/4 inch. So 1/2 inch and 1 3/4 inch. And while I do that, I'll just again leave it here if you need to get a screenshot. I know my little chicken scratch isn't the best. And there you go. Oh, let's move our thumb. Okay. So now with this one, again, I'm just kind of not bone folding. I like to divot these out sometimes. I didn't do it on the first one, it looked fine, so I'm just gonna leave it. All we're doing is scoring that, and if you want to glue it to the back side, or the way I'm doing it, however you want to do it. Whatever looks neatest to you. What I mean is put glue on here and stick it this way, or this way. I'm gonna put a matte layer anyway, so if it covers the back or covers the front, it doesn't matter. And so that is the final touch on that. And I'm gonna let that set up again. I like my score line to just be right on the edge of that cut line there. And you guys, that is the basic pocket if you want to add the flap. Okay, so that's all we're going to talk about today because I got to get moving. But we will come back and completely transform these guys. So again, my email's in the description box. If you are interested, we will get started. Okay, guys, so keep an eye out for the next video tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.